And Matsetsebale, I'd like to start with you. What do you think are some of the most pertinent issues that young people still face so many years later? What's today's fight all about?
Good morning, and also greet my fellow panelists. I think we've had quite a number of years. We understand what issues young people in this country are facing. South Africa is sitting on a time bomb. Nearly half of our young people are unemployed. We're still facing structural poverty, poor education, unsafe schools, mental health crisis, limited access to land, credit, and infrastructure. So we are still very much in the middle of the legacy of apartheid, where young people feel very much disgruntled because they are not able to meaningfully participate in the economy of South Africa. And we've heard quite a lot of conversations about what the challenges are. And we also know what solutions need to be put in place for us to pull our young people out of the situations. The conversation that needs to be had is how do we strengthen the capacity of all stakeholders to ensure that young people do access, dignified livelihoods, which I think is one of the most important things. 1976 in June, also something that needs to be expressed is that these were young people in school that saw education as an instrument to achieve a life of their choice. And they saw the pilot project of the apartheid regime as an impediment to that. And the young people that stood up understood that this is a policy issue. This is a government process, and they had to stand against it. So 1976 June, we are commemorating the agency of young people understanding their challenges and standing to tackle them. When their parents were going to work and all of those other things, they understood that there was no one that is coming to save them. They had to stand by themselves, and they were very young. So that is one of the things that also needs to be brought on the table, that today, as young people, we also need to start looking inward in addressing our challenge, because it's very clear no one is coming to save us.
I want to shift the attention from the economy for a moment, but before I do that, Matsetsebale, I'd like to bring you back into the conversation. The professor saying that the youth of 1976 should feel betrayed when we look at the current state of unemployment in our country, for instance. Your thoughts on that?
I mean, the youth of 1976 fought for structural changes. This thing, it's happening in layers. So when you build a house, there's always a foundation on which the structure must stand. If we build a solid foundation, but every time we're trying to keep on building the wall, it keeps on having cracks. It's not that the people who build the foundation will feel betrayed per se. It's just that there are some systematic issues that have to do with how we're mixing the concrete when we're building the wall. So I think they gave us a beautiful platform on which we can build. Yes, it would feel very disappointing that they had to fight this hard, most losing their lives. And if they had to come back, when they say Jesus comes back, all of us are going to rise from our graves. If they are to rise from their graves and they find things like this, they will feel very sad, but they would have been a standpoint on which we had to start from. So yeah, I think that is my view on that, on the betrayer. Who would have betrayed them? I think if there is a question of betrayal, it would be us as young people that would have betrayed them. I remember speaking in one event in the presence of the former Minister of the Department of Basic Education, Mam Enjimutser. I kept on speaking about the youth of 1976. When they took the podium, she said, I am one of the youth of 1976. Stop talking about us as if we are not there. So we still have quite a number of them. And I don't know, do they feel betrayed that they're today in government and stuff is not moving as it's supposed to? Or what? Because the youth of 1976, a large part of them, they're still here. Most of them, they're in government. But I think we as young people in this country might have gotten to a point of relaxing that much. I think we need to unite. We need to understand our struggle. And no one is coming to save us. We need to go out there and ensure that we strengthen processes that aim at developing us. The question that you raised earlier on about young people not having support, For example, the NYDA, I sympathize with them. They're overwhelmed. Sometimes you can throw stones at them, but there's quite a lot of things that they're doing, but it will not reach all corners. It does not take the NYDA for you to open their website and show the young people in your congregation at church that the NYDA has this program. All young people that are employed in my church go to the... Tulisa doesn't have to go to my church in Lwahome to show them. So if we understand that we also have a role to support the systems that are in place, I think most of the young people can access that support. But if we're going to stand in corners and say young NYDA is not supporting us, they will not come and reach all the corners in which we find ourselves. Thank you.